Hey guys, we're here at the Mother Neff State Park once again on So last time we was here, I took you to the tower. As you can see here on the marker, that's where I took you, right here. But today, we're going here. So that means we're going this way. Let's go. I have been wanting to see this cave now for quite some time. I've not been to it yet. So this is going to be exciting for me. I love caves, and I hope all of you do too. Of course, I've got to watch for nature, as this is their habitat first. So, keep my eyes peeled. Don't want to trip on any roots or startle any critters that I'd rather them stay where they belong. I have no idea how far out this even is. Look here. This is sort of an old bridge here. Maybe it was an old path, because it doesn't look like people's walked it. And maybe that goes up to the tower. I'd say it does, possibly. But, you know, we may go back and check that out, because I love to explore. I'm a curious George when it comes to bridges and stuff. Once again, we've got another sign. It's been broke down, but cave this way. This is going to be fascinating. Well, I don't know if it's just going to be a groove in the hillside or if it's going to be an actual cave. I've not seen pictures of it or heard stories of it or anything. Now, this is going to be fascinating. I wonder if very many people comes here to the cave. It appears that it's not walked as often. Somewhat grown up a little more, which of course we did come in the late winter, so things were died down. Wow. I honestly, seriously don't think people walk this very often. I wonder if the tower's just as grown up. Here's that part of that creek system with the bridge that we walk over to get to the tower. And as you can see, it is dry. Well, we've got some rock formations, or stacked rock rather. Ooh. All right. Some more part of that creek system that, like, apparently if it does start to flow, it goes along the trail there. All right, we got some steps to go. My husband was debating on whether or not to come with me. He had knee surgery done, but still kind of takes a toll on him. His knees are in much better shape, but it's not easy for him to overuse them or do climbing like this. And we never knew, so it's a good thing he didn't come. I'll show you these big boulders. Oh, I can feel and hear my heart. It's good for me. I need exercise like that, honest. I need to do it more. I really do. At one point, I walked all the time. Am I to assume this is the cave? Oh, look here. We've got young sparrows that lives in that crack. I guess this is the cave. Which is nothing more than a grooved out rock, which is more or less disappointing. Let's see what they say here. So, I guess I didn't show you. It was a very good walk down. I was having to watch where I was stepping, so I'm sorry. Well, let's start over here. There's the picture of it. Carved in stone. Walk shelters, like Takara Cave, take millions of years to create. As Wash Pond Creek flows to the Leon River, it cuts through layers of limestone that formed during the Cretaceous period, the time of Tyrannosaurus rex. Over time, some rock layers are carved out faster than others, creating overhangs such as Tenkara Cave. These time-tested geological features made ideal I'm so out of breath I'm having a hard time reading. Ideal shelters for the native peoples of Central Texas. I'm sorry about that, guys. Sharing space with the past. As you make your way through Tenkara Cave, stop for a moment and imagine what would be like if this was your home. Location, location, location. May not seem upscale today, but Tenkara Cave was once prime real estate. Okay, that's a good way of putting it. Before the arrival of Europeans in Texas, the native population relied on the bounty of nature to survive. For folks who made their living hunting and gathering their food, success required a detailed knowledge of natural resources. This rock overhang provides an excellent shelter and is close to good sources of food and water. Don't pocket the past. Okay, well, I'm not planning on taking anything. If I see anything. Ancient clues. Tenkara Cave gets its name from the well-known tribe that once lived throughout central Texas, but nobody knows if Tenkara people ever actually lived here. Either way, by the time the Tenkara appeared in Texas, native groups had probably been living in the shelter for thousands of years. When members of the Civilian Conservation Corps excavated the site in the 30s, they found stone projectile points and other tools used to hunt and prepare wild game. All right. So let's go over here and we will see if we cannot get a much better view of this. Yeah, look here. There's a swallow up there. Let's see if I can zoom her in. She's got a nest up there. There's a swallow. And I think there's probably a nest over in some of the other cracks too. So, basically that's all it is. It's just a very large rock shelf. I was hoping it was an actual cavern, but that's alright. Kind of a horseshoe shape there. Like maybe at one time there was an actual pool of water. Okay, so there's the cave. Yeah, well, I am so sorry, guys. I know I sound disappointed. I was more excited over the tower, honestly, but I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be that way. I mean, you know, this is still a form of nature, so we'll get a better look in here. Look, one of these days that shelf is going to drop some. It's cracked. I guess like people might could have sat there and had a fire in the center. That would have worked, right? And people just kind of sitting around here. Of course, we know that caves are cold. They can be anyway. Yeah, see, that shelf is going to come down too. Oh, it's kind of making me nervous. I had a very bad experience with caves. Not me personally, but at the same time it's very personal. So I really don't trust them. But I want you to notice this. And it's a shame that it is dry. It's a very shame. Yeah, it would have been gorgeous. But apparently we've got a couple waterfalls. And it's dry. No water. Now I can imagine how gorgeous it is if it was flowing. I'm going to show you this platform up here. See that? So it would have been like 2 waterfalls. And like the water, once it flowed its basin, it would flow out like that. And I see where the creek would have went. Come on, we'll go this way. That way we don't have to walk back underneath the shelf. So like it would flow from its basin along this way. Into the creek. And along that way. Now that looks to be a little deep there too. So maybe in some ways it would have also formed, well, maybe not necessarily a waterfall, well, but it would have been decently deep. Let's go on up here and see what else we've got. At least they provide railing, so that's good. They've done some asphalt. Wonder why. No tree. Keep your wildlife wild. Please don't feed the wildlife. They're in luck. I don't have any food on me. Pardon me. Adjust it a little. Alright. I don't understand the asphalt. That doesn't make very much sense. Parking lot. Oh. I see. Okay. So, let's read the sign over here and see what it says. Cave Foot Trail. Well, we'll go on back the way we came. Okay guys, so we're back here where there's the second reading sign about the cave and that bridge. So let's see about this bridge, shall we? It's my guess it does go up to the tower, but it'll still be fascinating. Like I said before, I love bridges. They done cement. Yeah, cement. Ah, no hikers beyond this point. You see that? People's walked up there a little bit. It's my guess they've gone around it. Makes me wonder. Probably just goes right back to the cave. Or to the parking lot. More likely. So, that's that. Darn. Oh well. Let's go on, shall we? Okay guys. We're back here. It goes up to a parking lot right there. This is one of the tables. And here we've got our sign, the cave, on the tower. Well, we're going this direction, but we're going to the wash pond. Let's go. Still having to watch where I'm stepping. Paying attention to what's in my path. One always has to be careful out in nature. Always. Any time of year. For any reason. There was a low limb. Kind of got me. Okay. Yeah. As you know, up that way is the tower. And the bird blind. I'm catching my breath, guys. And this way is the wash pond. Let's go. A lot of high roots through here. Yeah, I'm very sorry about sounding disappointed about that cave. It was still beautiful. Seriously was. My experience with caves, I had lost an uncle and then his son in a mine. So my biggest problem is about mines, but they're still caves. And I guess natural caves are a little bit safer than ones that's hewn out by hand, I reckon. But I wouldn't exactly count my beans on that, you know. Bluff Loop. I think this goes up to that bird thing. So, we continue this way. Anyway, as it goes, my uncle was so very young. At the time, me and my family lived in Ohio. I was a very, very little girl. My baby brother was still a toddler. And we got a call. My uncle had been trapped in the mine, and they was busy trying to pull him out. So we took the 8-hour or so trip into Kentucky for my uncle's funeral. Later on down the road, we moved to Kentucky and moved to a house that was made by another one of my uncles that happened to have been there at the time when my one uncle was crushed. They both were working the mine at the time. My one uncle had stepped out, and when he came back, my other uncle was underneath the rock. It was on the face of the mine. It just so happened that I could even walk up to that mine from the house that we had moved into when we moved to Kentucky. So, as often as I could, which usually was winter, because that was the only time that you could really get through there, I would go to that mine and have a little bit of a memorial service for the uncle I never really got to know. They say he loved me pretty good and whatnot, but I reckon, like, I really, I don't remember him because of how young I was. So, many years later, I was married, and his oldest son was working in mines, and the roof of the mine collapsed on him, killed him, and he was the same age as his dad when the cave collapsed on him. And then a couple years later, I almost lost my brother-in-law. Roof fell on him. It injured his spine. He can walk, but it injured it to the point he'll never be able to work again. So I almost lost my brother-in-law too. So no, I really don't trust caves that much. And you think about it, it makes sense. Caves are heavy. There's a lot of weight on top of them. Trees, dirt, more rock. So their roofs are heavy. And then strip mining came through, and people was complaining about the strip mining, complaining it was ruining the environment. And I told my husband at the time, who were now just good friends with my first husband, I told him, I said, I don't care how much complaint they have over these strip mines. At least people aren't losing their life. I mean, yeah, there could be accidents with the equipment used to strip the mines and stuff, but people wasn't going underground and the caves collapsing on them. So I was very appreciative of the strip mining because more lives were being safe. After losing my uncle, my cousin, and almost my brother-in-law. Yeah. So I love caves. I'm very fascinated about them, fascinated with them, but I just don't trust them. So I was very grateful to be out from underneath that shelf. And when I saw some of the cracks there, no. But I filmed it for you all to see it because it was still beautiful. Was still beautiful. You know, it's my guess. People basically only go to the tower. I'm getting spider webs all over me. I didn't get any going to the caves. But I don't know. We're going to the wash pond. Here's a little trail here. I bet this goes to the other parking lot. Well, we've got a sign here. I didn't see it. Yeah. Going in the right direction, but I don't think anybody's been here today. There's been too many cobwebs. Oh, there's the road. There's the so-called bridge. Interesting. It ain't nothing more than just a little hole running across. Alright. Apparently they don't care if any water runs across the trail. Which don't have any water. Oh. Well, sad enough to say we ain't gonna have much of this either. Because there's no water getting into it. And you can tell it's receding. You can tell there by the water stain. Look there, a resource of water right there would flow down into a type of waterfall as well. So the wash pond is drying up because there's no water resource. Here, if it's got an overflow, would flow down that way. But that doesn't make any sense, honestly, because the creek and the waterfall that way, somewhere or another it would actually meet. That's oops, sorry about that. It's actually a shame. That's a shame. It's drying up. If we don't have about a week or two's worth of water, worth of rain, it's going to continue drying. So far, having 1 or 2 nights of storm isn't enough to get this dry creek flowing. Now they've got this set up that people can actually come up here and sit and rest, enjoy the view of the waterfall. So, Mom, I'm answering your request to sit and rest for a bit. There we go. Now just imagine if the creek was flowing and you could see it up there It was flowing down, cascading into a waterfall right into this wash pond. Yeah, it is a crying shame. It looks like it may still somewhat be deep in the center. This is definitely natural. It's a natural wash pond. It looks like maybe it would go up to my knees or my waist in the center. I really can't see the center, but could be even deeper there, but it won't be long. Yep. It's a sad thing that this is drying up. Would have been pretty deep. Pretty deep. I think this is actually more pretty than that cave, honestly. Well, Mother dear, I'm sure that you would want to sit a little longer, but your daughter is ready to move on. At least I gave us a sit down. That way you could rest. I'm going to tell you the little story behind me talking to Mom behind the camera. In one of my videos, I kept going on, and I kept pointing on the benches, and I was huffing and puffing. And Mom said that when she watches my videos, she huffs and puffs with me. She can feel my breathing. You know, she's struggling too. And she keeps thinking, let's just sit and rest a while. Every time I would show a bench, let's just sit and rest a while. So there we have it. I sat and rested for a little while for Mom. You know what? This isn't that bad. So I'm going to have my husband stop here so he could see this. Okay, guys. All right. No swimming except for the frogs. The wash pond, once used by Native Americans and early settlers, is an important part of our ecosystem. Help us protect this habitat. No problem. Don't think I'd want to swim there. Really don't. Oh. So, okay. Here's a greater view of the wash pond. It is the Mother Neff life-sustaining oasis. In this photo of the park's early days, these kids may have been headed to the wash pond for a swim. Looks like they'd already been in the wash pond. So they apparently at one time were allowed. Okay. Throughout the years, according to tradition, this small natural pool became known as the wash pond when early settlers began washing laundry here. Ooh. In the 1930s, workers from the Civilian Conservation Corps built a small dam that increased the size of the pool. Okay, so that's the dam, making it a popular swimming hole for many years. As the pond has filled with sediment its use has shifted from a swimming hole to a scenic natural feature. While it may seem inviting on hot summer days, swimming is no longer permitted in the wash pond. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So there you have it, guys. And so we're going to close it here. That pretty well concludes all of the natural sites that's here at Mother Neff. There are other trails, but they're just that, just trails. There's no sights to see or anything. It's the tower, the bird blind, the cave, and this wash pond. That's the attraction here. So I hope that you have greatly enjoyed this little walk, and I love yous. And to my new subscribers, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. And until next time, bye.